Hey, what's going on, guys? This is AndrewChicken, and welcome back to another video. The Paladins Constellations Update PTS is upon us, and with it comes Caspian, the Thief of Hearts. And so today, I'm going to be going over everything that has to do with Caspian in a nice, neat little package known as a video. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get straight into it. So before we get into any of his abilities or talents, we're first going to check out his skins. And up first is Default Caspian, which honestly looks really, really good. We're back up to the quality on default skins of champions like Seven and Vatu. He looks absolutely sick. And honestly, his skins only improve from here. So let's check out Free Spirit up next. This is the one you can buy for 60,000 gold, and you'll also earn it automatically if you own the Season Pass. And it's a cooler toned recolor. It's got kind of nice shades of brown and red and then blue on the weapons and blue hair, and it looks absolutely amazing. And then the limited version that is in the Season Pass, you can only get it from the Season Pass, and once the Season Pass is gone, you won't be able to get the skin anymore, is Change of Heart. Yep. Do I need to say any more? Listen, nexus.gg/AndrewChicken, link in the description. You can buy the Season Pass there, and when Caspian comes out, you'll unlock this skin, and you'll support me in the process. Go do it, buy it now, before you forget, because you won't want to miss out on this skin. Yeah, just look at it. It's very nice. And then finally we have the skin that I and many others will be grinding for, the gold skin. And this is an absolutely phenomenal gold skin, A tier at the least. It is so good. The hair looks amazing. It's got that kind of goldish fade on it where it's black and fading into gold. All the gold looks phenomenal. It looks like actual gold and not some weird shade of like brown or orange. And it's just the right amount of shiny too. It's not too shiny, but it's not too dull either. Like his pants don't look drippy like some other skins we might be familiar with. And the black is also really crisp, and I love the weapons so much. That just whole white blade and white gun looks amazing. Also the dagger on his waist, look at that. How it shines with that rainbow effect. It's so good. This is such a good gold skin, and honestly, it'll make a fine addition to my collection, absolutely. So yeah, once Caspian comes out, I'm sure there'll be a double XP weekend or a double XP week, and you'll be able to get this gold skin nice and easy. Alright, so now let's check out his abilities. Now, Caspian is a flank champion who has, at base, 2100 health. And he actually does not have a card to increase that any further, though he does have some healing cards and some shielding cards, as we'll get to in a moment. But he is also the closest thing this game has right now to a melee flank. So, he does have a gun, and that is his primary fire. If you left-click, you shoot. But he also has a sword, which is his secondary fire, and both share the same ammo pool. The gun takes 3 ammo to fire, and the sword only takes 1. And the sword also has a much lower range than the gun. Obviously, it's a gun, so we can shoot from this range, and yeah. The gun actually doesn't do that much damage. 350 per shot with this fire rate. It's really low. However, you can increase the fire rate and thus increase the DPS. And then the sword, well, that third attack, that heavy hit, has a bit longer range than the regular strikes, but the regular strikes are actually a bit short-ranged. Because, of course, it's melee. But this is still very good range for a melee weapon, because Terminus and Androxus' Punch, both of those are not nearly this long range. So, this is by far the longest range melee we have in the game, but it is still very short range. I mean, this range, only the heavy hit's hitting, and at this range, I guess the heavy hit is still hitting.
I don't suppose the 5-finger disc.
Okay, at this range the heavy hit isn't hitting.
No? Time to buy an item then.
So yeah, it's a bit finicky. But yeah, basically the sword is a very cool melee, and it does have a bit better DPS than the gun because of that heavy hit. But you'll notice it is still 350 damage per swing, and it has a very similar fire rate. But you'll also notice above each of the abilities, we have a little number, a little charge, if you will. So, whenever I shoot my gun, well, I get a charge over it, and each of those charges, which max out at 5, will increase the swing speed of my sword. And then as they go away, we're back down to low swing speed. And vice versa. So if I swing my sword, I get those stacks, and then my gun shoots much faster. So, he's got this kind of hybrid playstyle where you want to be using both abilities in order to get the maximum fire rate on both. And the charges do not get consumed whenever you swing or shoot. Rather, they get consumed just on a set timer. They have a set duration, and you can increase that with cards in order to make it so that you can keep them up much better, much easier, and does not have to worry about constantly using both abilities and just running out of charges like crazy like I am right now. But yeah, that's how you buff up his DPS, is you basically just use the weapons in tandem in order to make sure that both are doing good DPS. So, yeah, pretty interesting weapon loadout that this flank has. It's much more different than a lot of other flanks have, while still feeling somewhat familiar. Also, another thing to note, the pistol is a projectile, so you will not be able to headshot with it, and it has some travel distance to it, so it's going to be a little bit harder to aim than something like Androxus's Cursed Revolver. So do keep that in mind. So next, let's talk about Rogue's Tempo, which is his other attack ability. So Rogue's Tempo is a projectile that does 750 damage, and it will stun. It's supposed to stun whenever you have a stack of either Deadly Momentum or Precise Momentum, whatever it's called. Piercing and Sharp Momentum. Those are what those are called. I forgot. Listen, I'm a professional, I promise. However, it looked like there, I didn't have any stacks and it still stunned the Ying, so basically, you just gotta think of it as a stunning projectile. This is the first flank with a stun that's not an ultimate, it's just a regular ability. However, it is a very long cooldown of 11 seconds, but yeah, you combine it with your sword and with your gun, you should be able to get a kill on someone. And it is also a shorter stun. I think it was 0.7 seconds. Yes, 0.7 seconds. So we can do this, and then swing, and yeah, by the time the second swing is done, he's back up and ready to go. So yeah, especially on certain champions who have like defensive abilities and movement abilities, you're going to have to be very quick on killing them after you stun them. Or maybe you could do something like this. Bop, 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 and bop. You know, just kind of interweave it in between your attacks, kind of like you would a Vora Dark Siphon. And now, let's talk about the absolute worst part of Caspian's kit, his movement ability. There's 2 charges of it, which is kind of the only saving grace, but check this out. So it's a Xin whirl of sorts. However, you're stuck at the end of it. Using my movement keys, I cannot move. I cannot move. I am locked into this for so long. So it's very easy to hit him, and he doesn't have any sort of damage reduction or anything at all. It only does damage. It does damage when you hit them with the initial whirl through, and then when you're doing that second ability, it does another little bit of damage. So let's try and get it on the Victor here. Yeah, there we go. So it does that much damage, which is cool and all, but when you try and use it from ability, it's just like, it's not a very long distance dash, it carries no momentum, and it sticks you in place. Also, another thing, no vertical mobility. It doesn't even go up. It's only used for horizontal mobility, which is very underwhelming. Yeah, you can spam them and you can chain them together like this, especially with the talent I'm currently using and the build I'm using. But why would you want to? When it sticks you in place for this long, and there's nothing you can do to survive, you just get shot for free. Personally, I'm not a fan. I think it's the worst movement ability in the flank class. And I say that without exaggeration, because even something as bad as Scamper from Moji at least doesn't stand you in place and make it so easy for the enemies to hit you. It makes you so vulnerable. And I am just not a fan of Caspian's movement ability at all, especially coming from Eevee and Vatsu and all these flanks that I love that have just such fluid, clean mobility. This is not it, Chief. This is the #1 thing I think they should be looking at with Caspian, is make it go vertical, and maybe just not even have the lockout and make it carry momentum instead, just make it more like a dash. Like, literally just vertical movement Xin roll would be enough. But no, we have this instead, and I do not like it. Anyways, last, let's talk about his ultimate. So, we can press E, and we've got these 5 swords. So every time I shoot, either my pistol or my sword, we fire a secondary projectile that does 800 damage. So effectively, it adds 800 damage to each of our weapon shots, which is really powerful. Like, look at how fast we can kill these guys. It's insane. It's absolutely insane. So this is a really good ult. It's just a do more damage ultimate. And honestly, you can kind of think of it as just a better Xin ultimate. Like, Zin's ultimate is an ultimate that does 2,000 damage and just swings 5 times. Or actually, I don't think it's... No, it is 5 times. Yeah, brain itchy. But yeah, this... You swing 5 times, but you simply do more damage, and you're not locked in place. So, like, Xin has a better whirl, Caspian has a better ultimate. You can kind of think of it that way. And yeah, it's just overall a very solid ultimate. It does have that initial charging animation, so you wouldn't want to necessarily, like, look at an enemy and just press this in their face. You would kind of, like, activate it behind a wall and then go after them. 'Cause, yeah, you want to not make yourself vulnerable for, you know, as little time as you can. Or, that was a sentence. Listen, it's literally midnight when I'm recording this, okay? Give me a break. My English is a little bit broken, because, honestly, I should probably be in bed. But they made the PTS come out super late, at like 10 p.m. So, yeah, I haven't really had a good chance to record this. So yeah, Caspian, he's got, yeah, a very interesting playstyle with his guns, where you kind of hybrid them together and just get that fire rate going. He's got pretty okay damage up close. It's not anything super crazy. Nothing that really blows me away, especially when we have stuff like Cursed Revolver in the game and Bounce House in the game. Like, this is alright. He has a stun, which is very good. Very powerful ability, plus considering the damage it does, it's literally 2 free swings of your sword just in that ability. So that's very good. Movement ability is absolutely awful. And then the ultimate is honestly very good. Like, look at that, we just destroyed that Fernando. So, very powerful damage ultimate. You can get a few kills with it, or you can just load onto a tank and take them down. So, yeah, pretty interesting. But let's talk about talents now. So he's got 3 of them, and all of them seem to be pretty interesting. However, one of them is weak, not necessarily because it's weak, but because the movement ability is weak. So let's start with Measured Cadence. This fires a weaker copy of Rogue's Tempo forward from your crosshairs for every 6 ammo consumed. So we can grab this, and let's grab this build now. So this is a build I want to showcase. We have Shady Dealings at 10, or at level 5, so we get 10 credits for each enemy hit with Rogue's Tempo, which actually doesn't trigger off of the mini Rogue's Tempos, but it is still just a card that gives you extra credits, and so I want to test it out and see how good it is, and I'll probably have a video coming out on that eventually. And then Finer Things 5. This card is insane. So it increases your movement speed by 60% for 3 seconds after hitting an enemy with love. So yeah, basically shoot people and you go faster. By a lot. It's not like Bomb Kings where it has to ramp up. No, it's just bam. There's your flat 60% move speed. Enjoy. So, really, really good. And then we also have He Shot First and Shining Example, both of which basically just extend the duration of our stacks so we can keep those up better. And yeah, shoot the Fernando. Look at this movement speed. It's crazy. This is Caspian's real movement ability. Not that weak little freaking whirl. No. Just give him the move speed. But yeah, you can see every 2 shots here, I fire out a second shot that does 400 damage. And that is the miniature Rogue's Tempo. You see it doesn't stun, and it doesn't give me the credits. Like if I use it on this guy, you can see that gained credits there, but the miniature ones do not give me the credits, so the cards don't proc. It's basically just a do more damage talent. So every 2 shots of your pistol, or 6 shots of your sword, you will get that extra 400 damage. So this is more of a gun talent than it is a sword talent, because you get it much more frequently with your gun. So, bam, 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 we can 4-shot. Which isn't the most impressive thing, but I suppose, if you were to use your sword for a little bit, well, that fire rate is a lot faster, so you can kind of make it work. It's a bit interesting, and it doesn't seem like the most powerful thing, but still seems pretty decent, especially if you enjoy the gunplay more than the swordplay. Next is Everywhere at Once. This is his movement ability talent. So the cooldown of Deadly Momentum is permanently set to 5 seconds and cannot be modified, reduced, or increased through other means. Except it kind of looks like it can be, but don't worry about it. It's whatever. And then gain 1 stack of Piercing and Sharp Momentum for each enemy hit with Deadly Momentum, which, keep in mind, again, Piercing and Sharp Momentum are the stacks that make my guns go faster. So let's grab Everywhere at Once, and this is the build I was using at the start. So we have Flurry at 5. I actually put the Rose's Thorns in, just so we didn't showcase that move speed too early, but I'm going to put that back in a second. And then Swift Strikes, so we increase the travel distance of Deadly Momentum. So, when I was showcasing the movement ability earlier, that was the extended distance.
I don't suppose the 5-finger discount applies.
It's so bad, but yeah, let me put the move speed card in here real quick. Oh, that's the wrong one. This one. Oh wait, no. I'm freaking blind, dude. What am I doing? Okay, here we go. Put that in, and yeah, let's just, whoop, and then whoop. And yeah, so we are actually reducing the cooldown of the whirl, with that card that reduces it for each enemy hit.
As if they
So it
could
looks like the
stop.
card's description is a lie, or perhaps that card will still work, and stuff like Chronos won't work. I think that might be what it means to say. But either way, this lets you spam much more, and of course it lets you keep your stacks up much more consistently, which is very nice. But am I still using the old talent? Oh, I'm using the wrong talent. Grab this, there we go. So yeah, there you go. Now you can see. Yeah, we're still reducing the cooldown for each enemy we hit, and yeah, we're getting stacks for days.
Dash of inspiration
So,
and a hefty helping.
yeah, I feel like this talent would be good if his movement ability was good. But his movement ability is pretty bad. So, yeah, don't expect to see this talent too much. Like, I tried it out with some friends playing Caspian, and every time I use my movement ability, they just kill me. Because that walkout is so severe. It's so rough. Like, maybe on a tank this would be a good ability, because tanks can actually, you know, take a little bit of damage to the face if need be. But a guy with 2100 HP is not going to be able to tank that, so... But yeah, the stack duration is very nice. I mean, getting these stacks for free is very, very cool. It just means I can spam a lot more consistently. And just have this move speed buff, or this fire rate buff, excuse me. And then the final talent is his sword talent. It's got some heft. Increase the range and damage of War, which is his sword, but decrease its rate of fire. War's attacks now pierce enemies and deal an additional 20% damage to each enemy hit for each enemy hit in total with your attack. So let's grab this, and I'm going to showcase the third build, which just has increased duration, and then we have the finer things, and then some other fillers. It's a different take on the first build that doesn't have credits, and instead just tries to give me the best fire rate possible. So let's shoot the gun a little bit. 3, 4, 5. We got our stacks. And the fire rate is still pretty good, but you can see the increased damage. We now do 480 per swing, and we can reliably 3-shot with that third combo that does 420 per hit 3 times. So, but yeah, you can see the fire rate when we don't have any stacks is noticeably slower. So, let me get these stacks back up. Bam. And swingy swing, slicey slice. Very nice. And now if we get all these guys in a line, we're going to see how much damage it does when we hit all 3 of them. So it will deal the same amount of damage to all 3 of these guys, basically like this. 640 per swing. Those guys are dead. We cut the Fernando's HP in half, and there we go, he's dead in another combo. So this is, if you want to do swordplay, you pick this talent, because it will pierce, you can hit multiple people, and when it does pierce, you do more damage to both targets. So I thought it was originally going to work like Scorch, where the first person takes the lowest amount of damage, and then the next person takes more, and the next person takes more, and so on. But it's not like Scorch. Everyone who gets hit by it takes the same amount of damage, and that damage is increased. So it's actually better than Scorch in that aspect. So it's really good, but of course, whenever you know you have an ability that pierces through enemies, it's kind of a hit or miss thing, because not everyone is always, you know, standing in a line grouped up like this all the time. A lot of times they're more spread out than that, so it's going to be a little bit harder to get that. But of course, you can see there, like, we can kind of aim at the Vic here and still hit the game. A little bit, I think. Yeah. So it does make it a little bit easier to hit the sword as well. So pretty interesting talent. We have 1 talent for the gun, 1 talent for the sword, and then 1 talent for the movement ability. And both the sword and gun talents seem interesting. We're going to have to play test them, which I will be doing on Twitch, so do go follow me there. And yeah, then the movement ability talent, it seems interesting enough, but like, what's the point of even using that movement ability when I can just shoot people with the gun and have them speed card? Because I don't have any drawback of using the gun and the speed card. So I can just shoot them and then run around, and I don't get locked in place. And the dash doesn't even go that far in the first place. It's such a bad movement ability. I hate it. So yeah, those are Caspian's abilities and talents and skins and cards, and what's good and bad about Caspian from a day 0 perspective. Before we end off, I do want to go over some voice lines, and so let's just do that now.
Greetings and salutations. You are a snow leopard amongst geese. Oh, magnificent. You could learn a thing or two from me. Curses, curses, curses! Simply tragic. Bye now. Okay. Pretty pleased with a cherry on top? No, I think not. Yes! My thanks.
So yeah, there you go. That is Caspian's abilities and talents and skins and cards and voice lines. I am so sleepy right now. My goodness. It is now 12:49 in the morning, and I need to get to editing this video, so that's what we're going to call it. So yeah, what do you think about Caspian? What do you think about his abilities? Please let me know in the comments section down below. I do think the speed card is very powerful. I mean, just look at his speed we're able to get. Feels great. The damage is alright. But yeah, the movement ability is just horrible, and the fact that he lacks defense makes him extraordinarily squishy. Like sky levels of squishy. Because yeah, I mean, he's got this speed, and that's it. That's all the survivability you get with Caspian. So he's gonna feel really interesting to play. Like I said before, I will be playing him on Twitch. I'll probably be playing him on Twitch shortly after this video comes out. So we'll be testing him in real games and trying builds out and trying different playstyles out and just seeing what we can do with Caspian. So yeah, you won't want to miss that. Make sure to follow me there. Also check out the Discord server linked in the description. Both of them are linked in the description. And also support me at my Nexus at nexus.gg/AndrewChicken. You can buy crystals, the season pass, and more. Keyword there, you can buy the season pass for the skin. That's funny. So yeah, go check that out. I am sleepy. I'm gonna go edit this video. So yeah, I guess I will just see you guys next time. Peace out.